Thank you.
Testing.
Hi, guys. Hi.
The rosemary flowers. She's been in
Your group.
No.
That's for sure.
Thank you, Chris.
I know her daughter wanted to leave. Oh, my God.
Meeting will now come to order. Sorry, meeting will now come to order.
Here, you're on. Here you. Hang on.
Because I didn't have it on. Sorry.
You're gonna hear us loud.
Yes, we're going to be very loud. The meeting will now come to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for the United States of America. We need it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Donna Mosier. Here. Ed Weiner.
Here.
Susan Muniak.
Here.
Brenda Owens.
Here.
Lemay Nyford.
Here.
Barry Burgess.
Here.
Jennifer Smiley.
Here.
Beverly Hastings.
Here. Proof of notice of meeting.
Yes, Beverly, as per your documents and Florida statute, notice was posted.
Thank you. Disposition of prior meeting minutes. Okay, for September 1st, closed meeting. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll move that we accept.
A second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Let's see. The September 1st Timber Oaks regular meeting. Do I have a motion? Jennifer?
Second.
Okay. all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, one more. Closed meeting of Parks and Board for September 10th. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, let's see, moving right along. The ARC, Russell Rogers.
Russell Rogers for the ARC Committee. We met on Monday, through the 11 submittals, and we recommended to be approved.
Okay, do I have a motion on the floor, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
I do have one more item.
okay.
On August the 9th, you sent a letter to Jeremy and Mary White on their driveway, and they were supposed to remove 3 feet by August the 27th. Okay? I would ask Jennifer and Barry if they would check it out to see if that has been done.
It has done. It has been done. I followed up on that and it has been done.
So that we can close this up. All right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's it. Thank you, Barry, for checking up on that. And-
Unfinished business, the pool deck lights. John, could you?
So I talked to the contractor yesterday, and they are still on track to complete the lights and have them installed prior to October 1st, by the end of that last week in September. And we'll try to have the engineer lined up for the certification process immediately following their installation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a cell tower proposal. We need a motion to, have a meeting for the residents to, like a town hall meeting. We need a motion for that so that we can discuss and everybody will know what's going on, and we want everyone's input to see if they feel confident in having the cell tower on our property. So we need a motion to go ahead with the meeting for it.
Make a motion that we have a town hall meeting with residents and board, as well as a representative of, what was it, Reliant LLC for information on the cell tower proposal.
Could you also add that the meeting will be on October 8th? That's when the Reliant people can come
Okay.
at 9 o'clock. Yes, 9 a.m.
Okay, we'll add that the meeting will be on October 8th at 9 a.m. in the, what's this?
Auditorium.
In the auditorium.
Still second. You seconded it, Brenda? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So you'll be looking in your mail, you'll be getting a postcard that tells you when this meeting is. You can come and listen to what this company has to say about putting the cell tower. And then at that meeting, we will vote whether we're going to go ahead with it or we're going to decline it. Thank you.
Dan Thompson and Cheetah Drive. At the last meeting, I believe the way we left it was that you were going to talk to our attorney about it.
We
They
did.
just do that, and we're going to find all that out at the meeting also, what he said or what they felt.
Well, the reason that we're going ahead with having a town hall meeting is what the attorney suggested.
Okay.
Yes, John?
To let the homeowners know that we do have pictures of the proposed tower. We have a diagram where it's going to be located in the office, and I'm assuming that postcard, notification to the homeowners that we circulated is good with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Gary?
Can I ask a question in regards to the minutes of that meeting with an attorney? It says that it was,
That was a closed meeting.
You can ask if it's good after together.
Okay, let's see. The next thing on the agenda is the Driftwood Committee. I received a couple of things from Lisa Martino. Does the deed restrictions in the, Driftwood. And I would like to table it until our next meeting, which is October 1st meeting, which is what I originally had said. I want to go through and check out these houses that she has said have complied. You have a question, Barry?
I guess I'm trying to figure out, because I wasn't here the last meeting, the violation issue, what exactly are you wanting to address?
It's her 90-day review
Okay,
about their plan, the plan, to see how it's actually going.
okay. So you're wanting to see if she actually is doing what she said she was doing?
Well, no, we just want to review it. I mean,
How it's going.
yeah, if it's working. I don't know that she has a committee at all anymore.
Is there a committee, Barry, that is going out to check to make sure these are done, or? I mean, this is the first that we've gotten anything back saying with that many, excuse me, with that many addresses on it. Just felt that some of the board should go out and make sure everything is done according to the way it's been. It's just a check.
I guess I'm confused, because if she's turning in violations and then turning in resolved letters, you're questioning whether she's actually doing what she said she's doing?
No.
Well, it sounds
We
like
just
you wanted to go out and look for sure.
Well, no, I said that we need to make sure that the people that are complying are truly complying.
My thought is either you carry on the way it is, or you make a motion and vote to restrict the way she's doing it somehow. I don't think she needs you guys going through there following up on her. I don't agree with that at all.
Go ahead. I personally would like to hear from her that she believes the process is working as it should be.
I think the purpose of the review, the 90-day review, was when we originally agreed to let your committee do this, that we would review it after 90 days.
Correct, but the review process, the way I thought it was going to work, was that you seen that she was turning in violations, and you seen through her report that violations were being corrected. And I think if you looked at the subdivision now and the subdivision the way it looked 90 days ago, you can see that she actually is doing the job. Now, if you're wanting to change the way that works, that's a different story. But just to go through, and to me, you're saying you don't really think she's doing what she says she's doing. You want to check and make sure she is. I don't like that.
I don't think that's what we're saying, Barry. I think what we're saying is we want to review it with her to see if it's working for her.
Well, and that's fine. If you want to sit down with her and have another meeting with her and talk about it, that's fine. But to go through the subdivision and see if she's actually doing what she said she's doing, I don't agree with that at all, and I would fight that.
I'm sorry, in my opinion, this was put in as a trial to see how it was working, and after a 90-day review, to me, it's going through and making sure everything is working as it should be. And as a board member of TOPSA with Driftwood under us, I think it is our responsibility to do that. So I make a motion that we review the process and how it's working in Driftwood before the next meeting.
Do I have a second?
I did,
Are you seconding, Sue?
second.
Okay. Seconding Brenda? No, it was Sue. Okay, it sounds like a comment from there. I have a comment before we go. Okay, okay. All right, yeah. So I just want to make sure that I understand. I thought we were going to meet with the person that's doing the reviews is on the committee, those on the committee, to see how the new process is working for them. We're not actually going to go out and look at every one of the violations that they've recorded so far, or reported so far. Is that correct? Correct. Okay, thank you.
What we have to do, Barry, Lisa cannot come to a regular meeting because she works. So either someone from her committee or herself, if she can make it. But we'll have to try to do it on a Saturday otherwise.
So now I'm more confused than I was, because if I understand what Brenda just said, that you're not physically gonna go out and look at the violations, you're gonna meet with these folks in here and talk about the violations. So which is, clarify for me, please.
The motion that I made was that we go out and check that. I feel that we should meet with whoever's on the committee, not all of us, but a representative or 2 or 3 representatives from here to meet with them, possibly check on a number of them to see how things are going there. And I don't see a problem with that. And let them go with us and explain how things are going and how they're checking things. And I mean, this is like an oversight committee, in my opinion.
Then I guess I would want to be a part of that.
Yes, you will.
I think we would want you to be a part of that, Mary.
I want to note though that I'm in total disagreement with this, what you're proposing.
Okay. Okay, Debbie, do you have the motion? Let me just clarify it for us.
Remain moved and seconded by Susan for board members to review the current process and progress of violations in Driftwood prior to the next board meeting.
Okay. So we vote all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Motion was carried with one opposing person. Okay.
Am I allowed to make a comment on this?
Yeah. Dan?
Okay, Barry, I just want to say one thing, just so you know, this isn't a thing that they're doing for Driftwood. Forget about the 90 days. Every now and then, somebody goes with the lady that does the other parts of Timber Oaks also. It's not that they're just checking up on the lady that you have doing it. Periodically, they do have to go around with the one that does the other sections also. Okay?
Okay, there are no fines and suspensions, so we can move right along to correspondence. 8621 Winding Wood Drive.
We're talking about our 2 violations. There was one that was a car.
Could you speak up a little closer and you have to tell your names?
Lois and Stephen Brzezinski, we're talking about the 2 violations. The one that, I don't know why they keep on going on with this garden fence. This was from years ago, and every year we get a new person and they start with it. But we've had it for years back when, Raphael Erickson, and there was no ACR needed for bushes or a garden fence. And we told them our situation with rusty water and all that, but we'll get into that. And also, they keep telling him, like last year, they said he wasn't licensed or insured with his vehicle that was in the garage or outside the garage. And he always has insurance and everything. And now this time they say it's inoperable, and he'll go on with that and talk about that.
Okay, first of all, car that has been closed out. I saw the car running, so that's all that we needed to know, that it runs.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's closed out.
That's fine, but you want to know who.
I thought, all violations are supposed to be written. John told me it was a verbal. I'd like to know who made that verbal complaint.
Because it happened last year also.
We don't have any,
Right. We need to know who's making these complaints on us, because we feel we're being singled out all the time, and we gotta get to the bottom of it. Because these things were, see, we don't have anything in writing that it's closed out, and last time, years ago, they were never closed out in writing and everything like that, but now, John was saying you have to sign and everything's closed out. So all these violations that we keep getting are over and over and over again for 8 years, the same ones for 8 years, going on and on and on. So that's the problem we have.
Years ago, you used to have a village representative.
yeah, we don't have that in.
I know, that was Ralph Atchison.
Erickson.
And I had conferred with him when I came to the house. He came to the house and, he filled out the ACR at the time.
No, there wasn't no call for that.
Look, please. You're all married, you know. And at the time, I asked him about the bushes and the garden fence. He said, there's no problem with the bushes and garden fence, but even in the rules and regulations over 10 years or 8 years ago, there was a paragraph in there that garden fences were permitted, right?
It says fences in the senior buildings. No.
No, garden fences.
Years ago, you could have a garden fence if you had your bushes. Yes.
A fence is a fence. Okay,
No, it's not.
John, go ahead.
If we can narrow the focus here and finish talking about the vehicle before we move on to B, C, and D. I don't remember this vehicle being in a violation last year. I would be surprised if it was because I don't recall it.
Well, I don't
Can
understand.
I finish, please? The vehicle could become, just because it's closed out today doesn't mean it's closed out tomorrow, because the vehicle can become inoperable at any time.
That's true.
But it's currently closed because a member of the board witnessed it in operation, so it's considered operational today.
I find a problem with someone reporting a car just because it has a cover on it and then a letter going out. I mean, who reported this? Was this a citizen or was it the person that we send around to check? Because I saw the car, it had a cover on it. Numerous cars here have covers on them. That doesn't mean they're not running or not licensed. That's just my question.
So typically, we don't respond to complaints unless they're submitted according to the policy in writing with pictures where available, completely following the policy, right?
And then the policy.
Can I finish, Dale?
Dale, that's rude.
So in this situation, Beverly and myself actually happen to be talking to homeowners that live in that area. And one of their issues was a vehicle that never moves and they believed it to be operational. So we did not act on their complaint. We watched the area because of their complaint. We did not witness the vehicle. I personally didn't. I don't know if Beverly did, but I personally watched it for several weeks, did not see the vehicle ever move. So I considered it a violation unless proven otherwise, which they have done.
Thank you.
Also, it's an antique, and it's not supposed to be driven for normal, everyday use to go to work. And go
He has to get closer to the mic.
Or you can take the mic out.
The mic wasn't on, but basically it's an antique vehicle, has antique insurance, registered in Florida, and it is operable. So, I don't know, I still do not know who complained though, that's what I would like to
That's what
know.
we need to know. We lost.
That's everything.
So when they received the violation and came to the office the first time, and every time after that, they were told to, all they had to do was supply a copy of a legitimate registration, and we consider the violation closed because it is an antique and it isn't driven every day. We understand that. the violation, the registration was never supplied, so it stayed an open violation. As far as I'm concerned today, I've yet to see a legitimate registration, even though it's driven. I don't know that it's operational according to Florida state law.
You're not a Florida trooper, so I don't see where you have the right to see that. Thank you.
My husband has a commercial driver's license. He's not gonna go and not have insurance or not have a registration. And also my family's into things. I don't wanna be doing anything illegal or against the law.
So the answer would be very simple. Take the registration to the office and this will end. It's just a simple
But,
step.
well, this is a simple thing. Well, if that's what you have to do, then let everybody in their whole area have their registration go and driver's license. Why should we be singled out? Because there's a guy next to me, his muffler's falling out. A guy across the street, he doesn't have good brakes. So now are we gonna start?
But if the car is moving, we know that it is licensed, it's not considered an
But I don't
abandoned
think-
vehicle or just sitting there.
But
So
I don't think that that's our
according to our
responsibility.
excuse me?
I don't think that's.
According to our regulations, all you have to do is take the registration to the office. It's not something that is extraordinary that we're asking of you.
Well,
You're
for
tired
me-
of getting the notices, then just take it down.
I don't agree with that because it's singling us out. And why does everybody else not have to bring their registration? Why should you have our information? Private information.
If someone's car is sitting for weeks in their driveway with a cover on it, they would have to do the same if they were singled out. It's the same thing. It is a regulation done according to an HOA where you live.
Well, there's two other cars and we talked to the guy. He never got anything about his.
Turn them in.
I don't want to start turning people in. I want to have a coalition against people trying to single people out. That's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. I'm not gonna turn all the.
Donna has something to say.
First of all, as far as them telling you or any of us telling you who's making these complaints, that is against the law and we are not required to do that. Second of all, I mean, that's not to say that it's not good, but we are not required by law to do that. Second of all, is there any way that you can put the car into the garage?
No, we don't want to do that. We just put a 4-car driveway and that's what we want. We have our other stuff in the garage. I'm not gonna go get a storage. Why should I? I live in Florida. We don't have to. We've had it here for 8 years. Now all of a sudden we're getting picked on.
Then you should take the registration and get it filled out.
I'm not giving our information out. If I could get a state trooper to come over, I'll give him the information. I don't want to give it to you because then everybody else would have to give it. There might be other people not with the registration. Why are you singling us out? Doesn't make sense to me. That's what I'm saying, the principle.
We're not singling you out. It's the rules.
It doesn't have those rules.
It's an HOA rule.
What?
Not to have a car that's not usable in your driveway.
That's you.
Did you check it and tell us all that it was usable a few minutes ago?
Yes, but she hasn't proven that with the office. I'm the only one that saw it because as they drove by my house.
Isn't good enough? You're the president of the board.
Stop.
I guess everybody. doesn't
Take
know
your
what-
turn. When it is your turn to go up, then speak.
Thank you.
The point is, I think if it's been dropped at this point because the president has seen that it's a running car. If you want it to not come up again and again and again, the easiest way to do that is to show that it's registered.
But technically, that's double jeopardy. Now, if they say that it's ended,
No, we're not a court of law.
well, it's the same thing. If you say it's over, then why are you bringing it up again? It doesn't make
Because
no
it can
sense.
change, because it can become inoperable.
Well, then I would call the state troopers and have them come over and say this
We'll go
vehicle is
ahead.
inoperable. Why would I do it? I'm telling you to.
Okay, enough.
So apparently, I will not be able to know who complained.
Right.
Okay, So, well, one other question I have. I came to the office with a very serious problem a year ago. Okay. I had a verbal complaint. He threw me out of the office. I just want to make a point. If it's not good for me, it's not good for her, it's not good for him. So I think they should it should be always written and have somebody sign their name, so you can know who made the complaint. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dale.
Dale Thompson, Wichita Drive, I need to get something straight because I was under the impression, and I know I read somewhere, that from now on, if we filled out a card about somebody, we had to sign our name on the card. Is that, did I dream that? Could you just tell me?
And you still have to do that, but it is our legal right not to have to give it to you.
Oh, you
As protection for the
you
person
have
that
to know
filed the
who's
complaint.
complaining about a neighbor, but the neighbor that's being complained about doesn't have a right to know who's complaining about them.
Right.
Exactly. I think I know they, because they, all of a sudden put a camera right across from our yard, so there we go with that. I can figure two doors left. Now we're on the second one.
Now we're on the second one.
We have 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, we, have had this, I really didn't understand what you were even talking about, because we've had this garden fence going this way for years, 8 years, 7, 8 years. And I thought you were talking about, the plastic, because it said the plastic on both sides. So I took down the black fencing material blocking the rusty water. This guy here, he's new, and he took all the plugs off of his sprinklers. For years and years, on both sides, we had problems with rusty water. We even had violations, rusty water, debris in our beds. That's why we put up a garden fence to keep all his leaves out. This guy has a big tree. They blow them in our beds, and we get a violation that we have debris in our beds. So to stop that, we went down to Wayne Murphy. He has a really nice setup there, and ours looks similar, but he doesn't have the problems we do with the debris, rusty water, and everything like that. So we talked to him. My husband was painting the house because we're on and off snowbirds when we first came here. And we noticed all this rust is on our house, and we have city water, and our bill's high, and we don't have any rusty water, so we know it's not our sprinklers. We also have sprinklers all the way right on our border here. And that's why the garden fence helps, because we had an older woman there. She was kicking our things and breaking them. She was, going over on it with the weed whackers, mowers, whatever she was using. She was all into all that and constantly breaking stuff. So we've had these for years. So I assumed you were talking about this blockade I put up, and I put it up on the other side because we have new neighbors over there. Same thing with this rusty water hitting our house, our air conditioner, the whole thing, air conditioner, all that. That's why I put it up, and he still hasn't fixed it. And I'm trying to figure out who's in charge of all this, because if our houses are close, they both have rusty water, we have city water, and I'm going to code enforcement. We've been all over the city, and it's still not going to probably end. We're going to just have to go up the ladder, because how can we stop all this? And that's basically,
I just did, and I never took, I had to take this down because they complained about.
Madam President, we can't hear, and I'm nosy, so I'd like to know what.
I said complain to the people that are giving you the rusty water. Well, we did, and what he did, he didn't put the caps back on. He also doesn't even have any grass there, and he doesn't have anything that, if you look, he doesn't have anything he needs to walk. So it just doesn't make no sense why he was given anyway. unless he just doesn't know how to do it, but I don't know, I can't talk for him. But that's why, so we had that up there, and we took both sides down.
Are you guys using your mics up there, because we can't hear you?
Yeah, I hope everybody watching this is watching.
What I was asking is if anyone had a picture of this, because I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. That's
Do you have your picture with you?
Yeah, this is the picture. Oh, you want the picture of what you gave us?
Yes.
I don't have.
I sent you a letter. But
Yes.
This is his side, this guy's new, he moves in. He has all these sprinklers right here.
We want to know what, she wants to see what fence is in question.
Oh. A little garden fence that's made out of wire. And I got it on this side, I got it on the other side. No, it's a little black, you can't even see it. But
Oh, this.
this little, this is what I had before. I had carpet because we just painted our house on that side. This guy doesn't know how to fix, so I took all that carpet down on both sides. The other guy has the same house.
Is this fence here in the back? Sorry, I just want to get an understanding of what's on this. Does this fence here in the back, does this continue the whole way to the front, this little black fence in the back?
And actually, he gave me another violation a while ago. It was in the front, I had a little one in the front. The one time it was because of all the,
Here.
the one time it was because he has a tree across the street and all the leaves kept on going, so we blocked it. And it was a temporary thing, so then I put one in the driveway, in 19, a little fence that made that,
Can you remove that?
yeah.
This was a first, yeah.
And I also removed all the carpet that I thought she was talking about the tree.
Does the black fence come from the side of your house to the front?
Yeah, it's a garden. Since, 17 years old.
Are you able to remove it? You have bushes and shrubs that actually take up more than what the fence did.
But I don't want to remove it because I said that. The people on both sides, what they do is they take their lawnmowers and they.
Would they cut over your shrubs?
Huh?
Are they mowing down your bushes and flowers that are on the
Well, she
side of your house?
had a woman that lived there, she had a blower, she had a thing, she broke her stuff, and this guy does his own lawn too. And it keeps my bushes in, so it's real nice and neat. As you can see all the way down, it's nice and neat, it doesn't go on his walkway, and the guy down the street had the same thing, which I'll show you a picture here about. Well, that's when we did it, the same thing. But I'm saying, right, it's just a decorative fence, and if you see here, this is a ACR we were doing because we were painting the driveway or something, and they took a picture of that, because there, that, see that little corner, it keeps everything nice and neat, it's not like a big huge thing, it's just, you know, it keeps everything nice and neat.
So my suggestion to these homeowners was to submit an ACR for the fence installation and let it go through the proper channels.
Well, I say it should be grandfathered in because I was reading about the ACR, then you have to get permission from the neighbors, and I don't think that's fair to us.
No, you don't.
No, you don't have to put
Yeah, but
that.
I don't see,
There is a spot on the ACR where they ask if you can get your neighbors to sign it. You do not have to. That does not have
see,
anything to
this is
do.
like, does this guy have it too? He put it in the same time as us, he has a green fence going around the back with his bushes.
I have no idea.
And that's what I was saying.
You just need to deal with what
Okay, well, we
you
don't want
are.
to do an ACR because at the time we didn't.
it's a,
So we feel.
No,
you always need one. You always need
No,
one
we
for
didn't
any
ask
time.
for a garden.
Yes.
Yes.
If it's being signaled out as a fence on your property, then put in the ACR, and once that's approved, you have no problem with this anymore. And it is a decorative fence, it's not a 4-foot fence that's running around your property.
I just don't want to get into all that because I don't feel we should after 8 years bringing up the kids.
There is no such thing as grandfathered in. What is grandfathered in fencing in Timber Oaks are the ones that were put in originally when Timber Oaks was established. So if you want a fence around your yard, the only way to do it, if you are in the senior section of Timber Oaks, is to buy a house that already had one in when the houses were built. Those are the only ones that are grandfathered in.
Well, okay, so then I have a question. The woman across the street just put a
It has
flat
nothing,
3-foot fence in. And, so she.
The only thing you can do with that is turn in a green card
right.
or turn in a report and have her receive a violation. That's the only thing you can do.
Well, I'm asking because it was there all this time. It should just be there, and it's not a fence, it's a little garden fence, and it keeps everything out.
Okay. Your time is up. And again, let me say this. In order to get this resolved, you need to get an ACR so that it's on the records and you will never receive another violation for that fence.
ACR, because he said it would be denied when I was talking to him. So.
Not
Not necessarily, you just have to turn it in.
I feel that since it's been there all that time.
We're telling you it's not.
That doesn't matter.
And I feel like if I do it, I want everybody else to do it too. Because I have,
Turn them in.
like, I don't want to turn everybody in.
Well, then don't use that as an excuse for you to be able to do it. You can't play at both sides of the game.
I'm playing that I'm singled out there now. And nobody has an ACR. Because back then they never did ACRs. They had it with Erickson. And all he would do, he was a village,
We don't do those anymore.
You're asking to be singled out. You're asking that you should have a privilege that you can have a fence without an ACR.
No,
You're
I'm
asking
saying
for a
that
special
everybody else-
privilege.
No, I'm not, because nobody else has an ACR either. That's what I'm saying, and you're picking on me.
We are repeating the same things over and over again. We need to move on.
We're moving on. You've had 10 minutes, which is more than adequate.
They should just be grandfathered in like the guy on the street.
We told you it's not going to be. Get an ACR, fill it out, turn it in, and we'll go from there.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have other things we have to discuss.
well, that's not the way I'm going. I just feel that everybody else feels like.
You're gonna be in violation then, and you're gonna get a final letter, and it'll go to finding. If you do not, if you do not get an ACR, what don't you understand? Yes, you do.
When we did it back.
We're trying to tell you what's happening now, and I'm tired of telling you. That's it.
I just.
Do it or you get fined. Thank you.
Well, I know they are. No, that's the end of it. Right across the street. I have the title of just look at my home.
I'll wish karma.
Notice the corrections.
We can't hear you.
Okay, the next correspondence is from Patricia Morrow. Is she here? No. Okay, it's really just a notice that there's 12 to 15 people that want to go. They're exercising at 10 a.m. every day. And they just wanted, people to know that. Because they're too old to go, they're handicapped and can't go to the class at 9 a.m. So they're doing their own thing at 10 a.m. They don't need music, they don't need anything, they're just going to be there and exercise. Okay.
The only thing with that, as long as they don't prevent other people from using the pool.
Correct, which we told. And the last correspondence is, no, it's not the last one, I'm sorry. Tapestry, 10544 Tapestry Drive. Is Ann Osinga here? She's the one who turned this in.
She couldn't hear today. No, she's not here.
Okay. Go ahead, LeMay.
Ed and I went out and looked at this property. We went out at night. I see no violation. She said about holiday decorations and Christmas lights, but there's two small areas that may be 12 inches by, even 12 by 12, which is an exaggeration. In two little areas that have colored lights, they're not Christmas lights. As far as artificial flowers, they have the solar flower lights, and there's, I think, 4 of them in the entire yard. that light up at night. I also went back during the day to look at it. I don't see a violation here. And Ann's question was why they did not receive a violation letter, and I don't think there is a violation.
I also went up, I know John went out, Linda went out, Bev went out, you two both went out. I think we're all in agreement, there is not any violations at this residence this time.
At this time. Okay, 8740 Woodcrest Drive. Are those people here? Mark and Michelle Burns? Okay, Mr. Burns is here.
How you doing? Hi, my name is Mark Burns. I'm here to appeal my horseshoe courts. The professional horseshoe courts were denied twice. And I looked into the rules and the bylaws. And there's nothing in the guidelines to prohibit horseshoe courts. The only thing the board said in their best is it's in their best interest for me not to have them. I don't understand this when the courts doesn't take up over 50% of my yard. The board mentioned this, and it's also mentioned that these are recreational. We have a swimming pool, and there's also a lot of my neighbors have swimming pools. And to me, swimming pools is more recreational than horseshoe courts. If I ask 20 to 30 people to come over at 1 o'clock in the afternoon to go swimming or play horseshoes, I think I'm gonna get them to go swimming instead of pitching horseshoes. If these are so recreational, why don't I see a couple of horseshoe courts up here at the clubhouse? I see a swimming pool, but I don't see any horseshoe courts.
We have
You?
horseshoe.
Oh, I didn't see any out here. What's that? Oh, okay, I see the shuffleboards, I didn't see the horseshoe courts, my apologies.
Is there, I'm just wondering, is there a horseshoe?
How many meetings do we have for?
Stop.
Quiet in the audience, please.
I agree with you, but then let's get the answers and hear them.
We are waiting, but they can't talk over you, Dale. Thank you.
So, we do pitching tournaments on the weekends. So the reason why I want these courts in my yard is so we can practice instead of driving an hour to Clearwater. We play in tournaments and leagues. So instead of driving an hour to practice, this is why I want these courts in my backyard. So there are 75 tournaments this year in Florida alone, plus the state tournament. So do any of you guys know any of the Florida clubs that are listed in Florida? Can any of you name any of the clubs?
I don't know.
Do any of you know what FHPA stands for?
Mr. Burns, I have a question about your request. I personally don't have any trouble with the pictures, the background of the backing that you had in your picture. Well, I don't see a necessity to have concrete along the sides. That's my issue.
The concrete is only for us to walk on, because that's what we pitch on in professional ways.
You pitch from the side?
No, we pitch, we stand on the concrete here, and we go into this box. This
Yeah,
box,
the box or the pitch is what that I have no, but
the concrete themselves is just a platform that we stand
I
on.
thought it was on both sides.
No,
On the land.
it's just on something that we stand on. It's
so it's on both ends.
it's on, here, if you want me to show you, explain to you, I have a picture of what I really want. And I can explain it to you more,
Can I thought that this was turned down because of the amount of, I know we discussed the noise and the neighbors and all of that, but I thought that the final turn down was because it covered a percentage of the yard more than what was allowed in our ARCs.
If you looked at the diagram we sent you, my yard is big enough, it doesn't cover 50% of my yard. When I bought this house, I told my realtor I needed X amount of room for horseshoe courts. I turned down a lot of houses until I found this house for my horseshoe court. I take horseshoes very seriously. You know, this little patch means more to me than a swimming pool. And I got the swimming pool for my wife and the yard for my horseshoe court.
It is my understanding that we turn this down because of, between the pool and everything else on the property, that it covers more than the 50% that was allowed.
You look at that diagram.
Wait, let me finish, please. If you're saying it does not, then we need someone to go out and check this. And if it does not, I don't really see a reason why it should be turned down. Have you talked to your neighbors at all? Do they have any problems with this being put in?
Pardon?
Have you talked to your neighbors at all? Do they have any problems with this being put into the yard? For noise or?
We have 3/4 of the yard privacy fence. There's only one section that's not privacy. That's because the neighbors that were there before were very good friends with the other part of the neighbors. And I have talked to him, and he says he has no problems with it.
I would suggest that you get whatever neighbors you can to sign a petition, and I think we need to check the amount of yard that's being covered.
Okay, I was thinking that when the art guy was here and he was talking about this before, that he said he actually measured the distance and everything of what he's planning on building. And that's what we based that it was too much.
Russ, did you do that, Russ?
No.
Okay.
John?
So the size parameters of his yard were discussed at the last meeting, but it was turned down by the board due to the fact that it being a recreation court, and the board did not feel as though those should be in people's yard.
I think also though that we thought you were having, you were talking about tournaments. We thought you were having these tournaments at your house.
No, I'm not. You can't have a tournament with one horseshoe court.
Okay.
It's in the NHPA, which you guys probably know what that stands for either, but the NHPA rules, you have to have at least 6 courts to hold a tournament. I don't even want more.
Thank you. I really think we need to look at this again.
Okay, Brenda?
I'm just curious as to why you're not using the horseshoe courts that are here.
One, like I said, I didn't know there was any here. And 2, you have sand or do you have clay?
You're not a senior member, so you're not. That's the answer. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm not assuming.
Go ahead, John.
Do you pay the senior dues?
No, I do not.
Okay, so then you would not be able to even use these courts anyway.
Okay, John?
They're also not what he's looking for. He probably would.
Yes, I understand that. Yes.
Okay, so I guess we make a motion.
I would like to make a motion that we take another look at the property at 8740 Woodcrest Drive for the installation of a horseshoe court.
Excuse me, would you be willing to add into it that if there is enough area that we require that all this property is, because when I was down there in August, we went and looked at the property. It is very close on size to about 3 neighbors, because he's on as old as that he has said the neighbors sign off on it.
I don't know that we should really put that in there, Sue, because I don't think it's up to the neighbors whether they get it. If he can get them to sign it, that's fine, but we don't turn down ARPs because a neighbor doesn't want it unless there's lights or something else that's directly shining into their house.
I'll second the motion for discussion.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more discussion from the board? Anyone? John?
Are you asking the homeowner to resubmit with his own measurements to establish the
We're asking his permission to come to visit his backyard, apparently,
Check this out. We're just going
to make sure that there is adequate room.
Sure, come on over.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor of this?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Welcome. Okay. Jennifer? I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Oh, I wanted to address that.
About the 50% that we keep talking about, I know when we did the documents the last time, I brought that up to the previous manager. If that was actually needed, that 50% required for the backyard and everything. Because it is preventing the family communities there to enjoying their houses, as he's pointed out. He's not family. He lives in Driftwood, doesn't he, Jennifer? Yeah, well, anyway. It's family. So anyway, all I'm saying is that John said it really isn't in stone to that you have to maintain that 50%, but nothing was ever done about it and we dropped the subject. But I think it needs to be looked at, particularly in the family units where they can maintain their backyard and kind of enjoy life with their children. And he certainly presented a wonderful case and I think he handled that quite well. But I think in the future, I would really think about that 50% requirement for the backyard. Just my opinion.
Thank you, Ellie. Okay, we
I'll
have,
second the motion.
okay. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned. You can have open forum if there's anybody that wants to speak about anything. If not. Okay, thank you.
For anyone who's interested, we do have a picture of the cell phone